The Friends of Northwood Cemetery started in the year 2008. Local authorities who own cemeteries have had less and less money to do the job that they would like to do, and we came in here in 2008 and realised that there was a lot that volunteers could do to help the Isle of Wight Council. The chapels are 160 years old. They were subsiding, they had been condemned as unsafe, and we thought that's just not something that we feel comfortable around in Cowes, so we set about trying to do something about it. That blossomed out into us doing all sorts of other things, but that was the prime driver.
My name's Sharon Bedard.
My name is James.
My name is Peter Armand.
My name is John Pullin.
And I'm a friend of Northwood Cemetery.
I'm a friend of Northwood Cemetery.
And I'm one of the trustees of the Friends of Northwood Cemetery.
I'm a friend of Northwood Cemetery. I'm also a trustee.
My role at the moment is to go through all the plots and work out exactly where all the graves are and what names are on them and if there is any markers.
Do them everything really, anything he's doing. Gardening and cleaning.
Well, I'm one of the trustees of the cemetery, and as a job they've given me the title historian. So I work on the records, keep the burial records up to date, do grave searches for people, and lots of other things as well.
I'm currently also the Vice Chair of the Friends and also Chairman of the Project Board.
My main role here on Wednesdays and Saturdays is being in charge of the volunteers that are working through the cemetery.
I think it's really important for family members to be able to come up to the cemetery and easily find any relatives or ancestors they may have. So by using these maps, it's vital to finding what you're looking for.
It's nice, helping out community and stuff.
Well, I've always loved this cemetery. I was brought up 50 yards from the front gates, so when I was right from about the age of 8, I've always been in and out of this cemetery. Went through the cemetery to play in the woods and things like that, so I've just always loved it.
I suppose I've always been into some form of volunteering, but this to me, when I was introduced to it, thought a very worthwhile project.
Since 2010 I've been retired and I've always been involved with doing voluntary work outside of my job. I was invited to join this group because we were trying to open up the graves so people could see more graves. So I enjoy it first of all, and I enjoy a bit of manual work as well. When I came, we were going through getting the natural burial ground ready near the gazebo, which we've also had done in the last 12 months. We prepared the ground because it was massively overgrown and that there was huge briars and brambles that hadn't been touched for years and years. So we completely cleared that. And what we're doing is we're recycling all the brushwood in through a machine, a chipper we call it, and that's been a great boon to us. And we relay the chippings on the paths and on top of some graves.
We're actually working, cutting through graves, clearing graves, so the people that have got relatives here, ancestors here, can actually have access to it, see the graves, photograph the graves, and get near to their relations. And that's what we've been doing now for 5-6 years now, because this was like a jungle when we came, and it's still a jungle in places, but we're gradually getting through there. People are very appreciative of us doing that.
It's a great community project. You know, cemeteries are often overlooked and people really need to appreciate the importance of graveyards and how important it is we look after them.
Well, it's an important piece of Cowes. You know, there's a lot of Cowes history here.
Because there's not enough people, young people that help out really anymore.
Most of our volunteers are retired people, obviously because they can work the hours that we need them to work and more flexible. But we really need some younger people to join us because this is a long-term job. So I think it's important that we get some more young volunteers who are stronger and fitter than us, and I think they'll find they enjoy it as well and they'll get something out of it.
It's a community asset, and I think people should get involved in this and appreciate the 17 acres we've got here of peace, quiet, and I think it's a good thing to try and get more people involved.
We have working parties in the cemetery every Wednesday and every Saturday morning, 9:30 to 12:30. We have something like a dozen people who turn up and we have a bit of a banter. We love pulling each other's legs, we have a lot of fun, but I wouldn't want you to think that all volunteering is on site at the cemetery. There are desk-bound jobs. If you've got access to a computer and the internet, there are a myriad of things that you could do to help us.
Work out what your strengths are. If you like doing researching or wandering around or helping with the overgrowth and all that sort of stuff, find out what your strengths are and just come and ask if they need a hand.
Come and see us. Look on our website and you'll find pointers in there where you can volunteer.
Make sure if they're going to come down here or any volunteering, make sure they know what they're going to do. Make sure they look at risk assessments, they know what the policies are and what people expect of them before they start. It gives them time to think about it and then say, no, it's not for me, or yes, it is.
My advice would be to find out what it involves, meet the people involved, because we're a team and we get on really well together. And I think when you're doing this sort of job and you're doing it voluntarily, it's important that you get on with the others and we all share out the jobs between us. So I'd find out what's involved and have a trial session.